She used to believe that a house could remember people. This one certainly did. Every morning when the sunlight slipped through the thin white curtains, it fell on the same wooden floor where she had learned to walk, where her mother had laughed while cooking, where her father had sat quietly reading the newspaper after work. For her, the house was not just walls and rooms. It was memory, safety, and the last place where her family still felt whole. Her name was Lily. She was 32, quiet by nature, and the kind of woman who noticed small things. The way the stairs creaked differently at night. The faint smell of old books in the hallway closet. The cracked photo frame in the living room that still held a picture of her parents on their wedding day. After they passed away, the house became her anchor. Without it, she was not sure who she would be. Her brother Adam thought differently. Adam was 2 years older. Growing up, he had always been louder, more confident, the one who spoke for both of them. When their parents were alive, his sharp edges were softened by their presence. After they were gone, those edges began to show. At first, it was subtle. A comment here, a suggestion there. He would remind Lily that the house was expensive to maintain. He would ask if she was saving enough money. He would question her decisions in a tone that sounded caring but felt heavy. Lily told herself it was normal. Grief changed people. Family argued sometimes. She did not want conflict. She wanted peace. She worked from home as a freelance editor, spending most of her days at a small desk near the window. From there, she could see the old oak tree in the yard. She often talked to it in her mind, as if it were a quiet friend. When work was hard, she would pause and look outside, reminding herself that at least she still had a place that felt like hers. Adam visited often. Too often. He never called first. He would knock loudly, then enter as if the house belonged more to him than to her. He inspected things. The sink. The shelves. The bills on the counter. He asked questions that made her chest tighten. "Are you sure you can handle this on your own?" he once asked, leaning against the doorway with crossed arms. She nodded, even when she was not sure. Saying yes felt easier than explaining her fear. Over time, the air between them changed. Conversations became short. Adam's voice lost warmth. He started bringing up legal words she did not fully understand. Ownership. Documents. Responsibility. Each word felt like a stone placed carefully on her shoulders. At night, Lily sometimes lay awake listening to the house breathe. The ticking clock in the hallway sounded louder than before. The silence felt watchful. She wondered if she was imagining things, or if something unseen was slowly moving toward her. She trusted Adam because he was her brother. Because he shared her blood. Because her parents would have wanted that. Still, a quiet unease lived in her stomach, growing heavier with each visit. One afternoon, she overheard him speaking on the phone outside. She was in the kitchen, pretending not to listen, but his voice carried through the open window. "Yes, I understand," he said. "It won't be a problem. She doesn't know much about it." Lily froze. Her hands shook as she held a glass of water. She wanted to ask him what he meant, but fear glued her feet to the floor. When he came back inside, his face was calm, almost kind. "Everything okay?" he asked. She forced a smile and nodded. From that day on, she began to notice details she had ignored before. Envelopes addressed to Adam that arrived at the house. His sudden interest in old paperwork. The way he watched her when she mentioned staying there long term. It felt like standing on thin ice, hearing cracks but pretending it was solid. The house, once warm, now felt tense. As if it was holding its breath. Lily still believed in family. She believed things would settle, that misunderstandings would clear. But deep inside, a small voice whispered warnings she did not yet understand. Something was coming. Something that would change everything she thought she knew about her brother, her home, and herself. And the house, with all its memories, seemed to be waiting for that moment too. The day it happened did not feel special at first. The morning was quiet, almost gentle. Lily woke up early, made herself a cup of weak coffee, and sat by the window as she always did. The oak tree outside stood still, its leaves barely moving. Everything looked normal, and that was what made the moment hurt more later. Adam arrived just after noon. She heard his car before the knock. The sound of tires on gravel made her chest tighten. She told herself not to overthink it. He visited often. Still, her hands felt cold as she wiped them on her jeans and went to open the door. He did not smile. He walked in without waiting for an invitation, his face hard, his jaw tight. He did not look around like he usually did. This time, his eyes stayed on her, sharp and focused, as if he had already decided something. "We need to talk," he said. Lily nodded and stepped aside. The house suddenly felt smaller, like the walls had moved closer. They stood in the living room, the same room where birthdays were once celebrated, where their parents' laughter used to echo. Now it felt heavy, filled with words that had not yet been spoken. Adam took a deep breath, then crossed his arms. "This can't continue," he said. Her heart began to beat faster. "What can't continue?" she asked softly. "You living here," he replied without hesitation. The words hit her slowly, like cold water. She blinked, sure she had misunderstood. "What do you mean?" "I mean exactly what I said," Adam continued. "This house is no longer your place. You need to pack your things and leave." For a moment, Lily could not speak. The room felt unreal, as if she were watching herself from far away. "You can't be serious," she whispered. "This is my home." Adam shook his head. "Not anymore." Her hands trembled. "You never said anything about this. You can't just throw me out." "I can," he said. His voice was calm, almost bored. "And I am." Tears filled her eyes, but she fought them back. Crying in front of him felt dangerous. "Where am I supposed to go?" she asked. "That's not my problem," he replied. The cruelty of his words cut deeper than the eviction itself. Lily felt something break inside her, something fragile she had been protecting for years. She tried to remember the brother who used to protect her, who once promised he would always look out for her. That brother felt like a stranger now. She opened her mouth to argue, to scream, to beg, but no sound came out. Adam turned toward the door as if the conversation was already over. "You have until tonight," he said. "I suggest you start packing." Just then, a knock echoed through the house. Both of them froze. Adam frowned and looked annoyed. "Who is that?" Lily shook her head, confused. "No one was expected." Adam walked to the door and opened it. A middle-aged man stood outside, holding a folder under his arm. He wore a simple jacket and had tired eyes, the kind that had seen too many difficult conversations. "Good afternoon," the man said. "I'm Mr. Lewis, the property manager." Lily's heart skipped. She had seen him before, months ago, when he came to inspect the house. He had been polite and quiet. Adam's posture changed instantly. His shoulders straightened. "Yes," he said, forcing a smile. "I need to discuss something regarding this property," Mr. Lewis said. His eyes briefly moved to Lily, then back to Adam. Adam hesitated, then stepped aside. "Come in." The three of them stood together in the living room. The air felt thick, hard to breathe. Lily felt small, invisible, as if decisions about her life were being made without her. Mr. Lewis opened his folder but did not speak right away. He studied Adam's face, then glanced at Lily again. There was something unreadable in his expression. "I was told there was a change in residence," he said slowly. Adam nodded quickly. "Yes. She's moving out." Lily looked at the floor, shame burning her face. Being spoken about like that hurt more than the words themselves. Mr. Lewis hummed quietly, as if thinking. "I see," he said. "Before anything happens, there are a few things that need to be clarified." Adam stiffened. "There's nothing to clarify." But Mr. Lewis did not look convinced. Lily felt a strange mix of fear and hope rising inside her. She did not know why, but something in the property manager's calm presence made her feel less alone. Like a door she thought was closed might not be locked after all. Still, Adam stood firm, his eyes dark, his mouth set in a hard line. And Lily, standing between them, felt her entire life balanced on a single moment, waiting to fall in one direction or the other. The room felt tighter after that, as if the walls were pressing in on them. Lily stood near the couch, her arms wrapped around herself, trying to stay steady. She could still hear Adam's words in her head, repeating over and over. "Pack your things. Leave." Each time they echoed, her chest ached. Mr. Lewis remained standing, his folder still closed, his eyes moving slowly around the room. He looked at the floor, the windows, the old family photos on the wall. It was as if he was taking in more than just the house. It felt like he was reading a story written into the space. Adam broke the silence first. "I don't see why this needs to take long," he said. "She'll be out by tonight." Lily swallowed hard. She wanted to speak, to defend herself, but her throat felt dry. Every word she wanted to say felt trapped behind fear. She was embarrassed, not just because she was being thrown out, but because it was happening in front of a stranger. Mr. Lewis finally spoke. "This is a difficult situation," he said calmly. "Especially when family is involved." Adam gave a short laugh. "That doesn't change the facts." "What facts?" Lily asked suddenly. Her voice surprised even her. It came out soft but shaky. Adam turned to her, his eyes sharp. "You know the facts," he said. "This house isn't yours." The words stung. Lily felt her face burn. She looked down at her hands, noticing how her fingers were trembling. She tried to hide it by clenching them together. Mr. Lewis noticed. He shifted his weight and looked at Adam. "I need to be sure everything is being handled properly," he said. "Evicting someone is not a small matter." Adam's jaw tightened. "I've taken care of everything." Lily felt invisible, like a shadow in her own home. She could hear her heart beating loudly, and every sound in the room seemed too sharp. The clock ticked. The floor creaked when Adam moved. Outside, a car passed, life going on as if hers had not just stopped. She thought about her clothes in the closet. Her books. Her mother's old scarf folded carefully in a drawer. The idea of leaving them behind, or packing them in a rush, made her stomach twist. She had nowhere to go. No plan. No safety. Adam walked to the window and looked outside, avoiding her gaze. "You should start packing now," he said. "The sooner you're gone, the better." Tears welled up in Lily's eyes. She blinked hard, refusing to let them fall. Crying felt like losing. Mr. Lewis cleared his throat. "Before that happens," he said, "I need to review a few things." Adam turned back quickly. "There's no need." Mr. Lewis met his eyes. "There is." The tension in the room thickened. Lily could feel it in her bones. She sensed that something was wrong, but she did not yet understand what. All she knew was that Adam seemed nervous now. His confidence, so strong earlier, had begun to crack. Mr. Lewis opened his folder slightly, then closed it again. "I've been managing this property for a long time," he said slowly. "I've seen many situations like this. They often look simple on the surface, but they rarely are." Adam said nothing. Lily watched her brother's face, searching for something familiar. There was none. Only impatience and a hint of fear. She felt small and exposed, standing there while her life was being discussed like a problem to be solved. Yet, somewhere deep inside, a quiet feeling began to grow. A feeling she had not felt in a long time. Hope. It was fragile, barely there, but it flickered. Something about Mr. Lewis's tone, his careful choice of words, made her believe that the story was not finished yet. She did not know what was coming next, but she sensed that the truth was close. And whatever that truth was, it had the power to change everything. Mr. Lewis took a slow breath, then opened his folder fully. The sound of papers shifting felt loud in the quiet room. Lily watched his hands closely, as if the answers to her life were hidden in those pages. "I didn't want to speak earlier," he said calmly, "because I needed to be certain." Adam's face tightened. "Certain about what?" Mr. Lewis looked up at him. His voice stayed steady, but there was weight behind it. "About who actually has the right to make decisions about this house." Lily's heart skipped. She felt her pulse in her ears. She did not move. She barely breathed. Adam crossed his arms again, trying to look confident. "That's already clear." Mr. Lewis shook his head slowly. "No, it isn't." The words hung in the air like a crack of thunder that had not yet reached the ground. Mr. Lewis pulled out a document and held it in his hand. "When your parents passed away," he said, "they left specific instructions. Not just verbal ones. Legal ones. Lily felt dizzy. She had never seen these papers before. No one had shown her anything. She looked at Adam, searching his face. Adam avoided her eyes. This property, Mr. Lewis continued, was not left fully to one person. Adam snapped, "That's not true." Mr. Lewis finally turned toward Lily. His eyes softened slightly. "Your parents made a decision to protect you." Lily's breath caught. "Protect me," she whispered. Mr. Lewis nodded. "They knew you lived here. They knew this was your home. So they made sure your right to stay here was written clearly." Adam's voice rose. "You're twisting it." "I'm reading it exactly as it is," Mr. Lewis replied. He placed the document on the table between them. Lily stepped closer, her legs weak. She could see her father's signature. Her mother's handwriting. Her vision blurred as tears finally filled her eyes. Mr. Lewis spoke again, carefully. This house was placed under shared ownership, but with permanent residence rights granted to Lily. The words felt unreal. Permanent residence rights. Adam stared at the paper, his face pale now. "That doesn't mean she owns it." "No," Mr. Lewis said. "But it does mean you cannot remove her. You cannot evict her. Not now. Not ever." Silence fell like a heavy curtain. Lily pressed a hand to her mouth. Her knees felt weak, and she leaned against the table to stay standing. Everything she had feared, everything she had been told, suddenly cracked apart. Adam took a step back. "You never told me that," he muttered. "You knew," Mr. Lewis said quietly. "You just hoped she didn't." Lily turned toward her brother slowly. Her voice shook. "You knew." Adam said nothing. That silence answered her more clearly than words ever could. Pain rushed through her chest, sharp and deep. This was not just about the house anymore. This was about betrayal. About being pushed out by the one person who was supposed to stand beside her. Mr. Lewis closed the folder. "This eviction is invalid," he said. "And it stops now." Lily felt the house around her again. The walls. The air. The memories. For the first time that day, she felt like she was standing on solid ground. Adam's power had disappeared. His threats were empty now. And Lily, still shaking, realized that the truth had finally stepped into the light. Adam's shoulders slowly dropped, as if all the strength had drained out of him at once. The confidence he had worn like armor was gone. He looked smaller now, almost lost, but Lily did not feel sympathy. The pain inside her was too fresh, too deep. "So that's it?" Adam asked quietly. "You're just taking her side." Mr. Lewis looked at him calmly. "I'm not taking sides," he said. "I'm following the law." Adam let out a sharp breath and ran a hand through his hair. This was supposed to be simple. Lily heard those words and felt something twist inside her. Simple. As if her life, her home, her memories were just a problem to clear away. She finally found her voice, and this time it did not shake as much. "You were going to put me on the street," she said. "You didn't even care where I would go." Adam looked at her, then away. "You would have figured something out." The coldness of that answer hurt more than anger ever could. Lily felt tears slide down her cheeks, but she did not wipe them away. She wanted him to see what he had done. Mr. Lewis spoke again. "There's more," he said. Adam froze. "More?" "Yes," Mr. Lewis replied. "Your parents also included a clause regarding misuse of authority over the property." Adam's head snapped up. "What does that mean?" "It means," Mr. Lewis continued, "that any attempt to force Lily out could result in legal consequences, including loss of certain rights related to the house." Adam's face went pale. "You can't be serious." "I am," Mr. Lewis said. The room spun slightly for Lily. She had not known any of this. Her parents had been protecting her all along, even after they were gone. The realization filled her with grief and gratitude at the same time. Adam took a step toward her, his voice lower now. "I was just trying to manage things." "No," Lily said softly. "You were trying to control them." The truth settled between them, heavy and unavoidable. Adam said nothing more. He picked up his jacket slowly, his movements stiff. Without looking at her, he walked toward the door. "This isn't over," he muttered. Mr. Lewis met his gaze. "For today, it is." The door closed behind Adam with a dull sound. The house seemed to exhale. Lily sank onto the couch, her body trembling now that the danger had passed. Mr. Lewis stood quietly for a moment, then turned to her. "You're safe here," he said gently. "This is your home." She nodded, unable to speak. Relief washed over her, but it was mixed with sorrow. She had not just almost lost her house. She had lost the brother she thought she knew. As Mr. Lewis prepared to leave, Lily looked around the room again. Everything was still there. The photos. The furniture. The memories. But something inside her had changed. She knew now that love did not always protect. Sometimes, it was the truth that did. And for the first time in a long while, she felt strong enough to stand on her own. After Mr. Lewis left, the house grew quiet again, but it was a different kind of silence. It no longer felt heavy or threatening. It felt thoughtful, like a pause after a storm. Lily sat alone for a long time, listening to the familiar sounds she once took for granted. The ticking clock. The soft hum of the refrigerator. The gentle creak of the floor beneath her feet. She thought about everything that had happened and about the brother she had trusted without question. The betrayal hurt more than the fear of being evicted. Losing trust inside a family left a wound that did not heal easily. Still, she knew she could not stay trapped in that pain forever. That night, she opened old boxes stored in the hallway closet. Inside were letters her parents had written years ago. She read them slowly, tears falling onto the paper. In their words, she felt love, care, and quiet strength. They had believed in her more than she had ever believed in herself. Over the next few days, Lily made changes. Small ones at first. She organized the house the way she wanted. She placed her desk closer to the window. She cleaned out rooms filled with old sadness and made space for something new. Each small action felt like reclaiming a piece of herself. Adam did not return. He sent a short message days later, cold and distant. Lily read it once and did not reply. She understood now that protecting her peace mattered more than fixing someone who did not want to change. The house slowly felt warm again. Safe again. Not because of walls or papers, but because she no longer felt afraid inside it. Lily learned that standing up for herself did not make her selfish. It made her honest. She learned that silence could be dangerous, and that her voice mattered, even when it shook. Some nights were still hard. Memories still hurt. But she no longer felt small. She no longer felt invisible. She belonged there. And more importantly, she finally belonged to herself.